All right, people, so look, it's one of those things that a lot of people ask me, how do you gain respect in almost any area of life? A lot of the times people try to go about it in the direct route, meaning they try to gain respect through actions. They try to gain respect through trying to fix an external problem without really realizing that you have to focus on one thing that will automatically cascade into respect from other people. It's what religious people who genuinely practice their religion, it's what inspires people to respect them. It's what spiritual people practice that inspires them to respect them. It's the quality that highly successful people have that inspires respect. It's the quality that if you actually do the opposite, you could do 1,000 good deeds, but if you show this, people will say, you know what, this person is pathetic. They don't deserve my respect. And what is that? Well, it's very simple. It's controlling your emotions. The people who emit an energy that causes people to disrespect them are people who just don't know how to control their emotions. They don't rely on themselves, and as a result, they sell themselves short to other people. For example, an example is a crackhead. You have this person who works at a job, perfectly perfect, they make money, but now they're a crack addict, and now they need crack. Now they don't have money anymore, they wasted everything on crack. Now they have $5 left, but the crack costs $10. How are they gonna get that money? What will happen is that this person will all of a sudden do things to sell themselves short. They'll lower their value because they can't control how they feel. So they're so desperate for that hit that they lower their value. And you'll see it in their face. They'll be desperate. They'll talk quick. They're more reactive. If you say no, they'll react more. They lose the ability to control themselves. And from the outside, it just looks pathetic. That's an extreme version. In a normal way, we all do that, but not at that extreme. And those fluctuations, those moments, for example, when you're in a relationship that they start to disrespect you, it's because you can't control your emotions. And so you start to sell yourself short and solely rely on them in order to make yourself feel better. You learn how to self-regulate your emotions, and I could promise you, people will automatically respect you, and you'll raise the buying price for yourself. You'll expect more from people. So we're gonna talk about how to do that today in this video, okay? So the first thing is self-regulating your emotions is pretty much self-sustaining. If you guys enjoy this type of video, by the way, you guys can check out my new channel. It's called Professor Alex. And there I give you guys interactive content on self-help, like how to set and achieve your goals, how to manifest, how to earn respect. It's not dating advice. It's more so general life advice. So if you guys enjoy that type of content from me, just click where it says subscribe to Professor Alex. Or just look for Professor Alex, and there you'll be able to find my new YouTube channel. It's got content that I don't post here, okay? So hopefully you guys enjoy this type of video. Right? It's a self-sustaining where you depend on other people, but you're able to walk away because you know how to sustain your self-esteem. You don't require validation to make you feel better, right? So let's talk about what happens when you don't do this. Well, first of all, if you can't control your emotions, you will emit incongruent energy, meaning you're such in an anxiety state, and you gotta understand, a lot of people feel anxiety, their brains just doesn't process it. Their ego and their self-image doesn't let them see that they're really anxious. But because you're trying to hide your anxiety, for example, a guy that feels insecure, right? And they want to win a woman's validation and they're desperate for it, he'll come into a date really nervous because they're really, when someone's doing something wrong and they kind of like look back, like when you're doing something wrong, a lot of times you actually become more self-conscious and you start looking around. Like when people shoplift, and they don't want to get caught, they'll give off signs that they're shoplifting by their looking around, as opposed to just being congruent and shopping for stuff, right? This is a type of incongruence where you're like, something's off about this person. Where you'll come across as too cocky, you'll come across as too show-offy, you'll come across as creepy, you'll come across as awkward. And that's usually because you're not in control of your emotions, and so you're trying to control it externally. And it doesn't work that way, right? So your nonverbal cues will cause people then to test you. They're emanating something incongruent in you. And humans unconsciously, when they sense weakness, and I'll be honest with you, incongruency is weakness. When they sense weakness, people probe at it like students at a new assistant teacher. So they'll test you to see whether or not you really are as confident as you're coming across, right? And the next thing that happens is that you will accept BS and lies because you can't what? Control your emotions. When you are in a desperate state, you feel you can't stand feeling how you're feeling, so you'll do anything for it. That's the important thing about controlling your emotions. You can't get to the point that you have to suppress your emotions through drugs and alcohol, because what that'll happen, you'll start to disrespect yourself, and it'll start to show in your other actions, and it'll cause people to disrespect you, right? And you will also go back to toxic people, right? Because it's like let's go over here. It's like during COVID, right? A lot of people went back to toxic exes, and the only reason why they went back to their toxic ex is because they couldn't handle the loneliness, which is kind of similar. You don't know how to control your emotions. You feel so lonely that you're willing to break your promise and you go back to them. It's like somebody who is trying to quit weed, where you promise to quit, but because the feeling is so intense of quitting that you go back, right? If weed was a person, weed would be like, oh, you want to go back to me? Okay. Ha, look at you thinking you were strong, bitch ass nigga. Come back. Like that type, and you're like, yes, sir. Come on, man. You can't do that, right? So when you learn to control your emotions, and I'm going to show you how to do it, you're able to achieve your goals faster. Why? Because you have perspective. When you can't control your emotions, you develop blind spots a lot, right? When you're able to control your emotions and think logically, you're able to think further. The aperture of your vision expands. As opposed to the scope of your vision narrowing, it expands to the contours of life itself. That's why a lot of people who have ADHD, or even people who are very left-brained, they're able to achieve their goals faster because they think more logically. Whereas opposed to artists, we can't because we think more emotionally. And the next thing is that your decision-making increases, right? And so if you control your emotions, you're able to say no to crack. It's like the friend who's broke all the time and they wonder why, but they always smoke weed, right? Like, man, I'm always broke. You're like, motherfuckers, because you smoke a lot. Well, they don't notice that. They don't notice how their emotions, how their lack of control over their emotions is really dictating their decision. They want to achieve their goals, but they prioritize fun and diversion because they can't self-regulate. When you're able to be at peace and bring yourself down to a simmering point where you're able to think logically, your decision making increases. And when it comes to achieving your goals, it's all about your decision making, right? Your demeanor increases. And so this creates an intimidating aura. People who control their emotions have it like an intimidating presence to them, right? They're able to project whatever they want to project. But when you can't control your emotions, you'll try to come across confident, but it'll look creepy, right? And so as a guy, and even for women, it'll look really attractive. The next thing is that your movements become slower. And it comes across as though as though you're someone of power, as though you're someone who deserves and merits respect. When you're twitchy, it's because you're not aware of the emotions that are causing those twitches. You gotta understand, intense emotions causes involuntary movement of the body. Maybe not involuntary, but twitchiness, like a desire, like an itch to scratch. When the emotions are at a simmering point, they affect your face. So you may feel anxious, but not enough for you to notice it, but it'll come across in the face. And the more anxious you feel, the more those emotions incorporate bigger muscle groups to the point where you almost shake out of anxiety. But at a simmering point, by you controlling your emotions, you learn to not move so much, and so you move much slower. Your thinking is slower, meaning you make decisions in a slower but more precise way, which comes across as more attractive. The next thing is that you emanate masculine energy. So even at your job, you come up, because at work, unfortunately, masculine energy is what thrives. All right, for all the feminists out there, masculine energy is what thrives at work. And actually, people will want to work with you and will see you as more competent as a result of it, right? You don't act out of fear. So your goals, you set higher goals. Your goals are high. You're not afraid of failing because you know how to go from this emotion to this emotion. You're able to take heartbreak. And so you don't avoid relationships. By controlling your emotions, you pretty much take control over your whole life. And above all, people gravitate to you more because you emanate an ecosystem of positive emotions. By you emanating and having an ecosystem of positive emotions, you pretty much become like a very nice person. Like people just sense a niceness emanating from you, right? Now, how do you do that? How do you, let's go over here. How do you control your emotions, okay? Well, let's talk about this. The way that you do that is you literally practice meditation. People don't understand that your emotions require attention, not distractions. And so, but not just any type of attention. It's a non-judgmental attention. How do you do that? Well, when you see emotion, you naturally repel from it. You gravitate towards the good emotions and you run away from those positive emotions. And that keeps you in that cycle. The way to overcome, or better yet, soften those emotions to turn into peace, because every emotion is a variation of different emotions. But what we want to be able to do is to remove resistance so that that emotion turns into peace. Similar to colors, remove chroma and it becomes black and white, or one of the two. So you remove that chroma by learning to observe your emotions in a non-judgmental way. But how do you do that? Because things happen and you judge it. Well, the way that what judges things is your thoughts. I like this, I don't like this, right? And so the way to remove that thought is by bringing awareness to your sensation. Bring awareness to sensation. Feel the body, feel the hand, feel the nose, feel breathing. And by you doing that, you literally strip away energy from your mind to react to sensation. What you want to be able to do is feel sensation and stay there, because the reaction is of the mind. Feeling sensation is all in the body. So just keep awareness in the body and notice the subtle sensations that's happening. And as you're feeling whatever emotion you're feeling, just stay there and keep feeling more sensations with more intensity. And what this allows is, this allows your emotions and those negative emotions to burn away. By you reacting to it, saying, I like this, oh, I don't like this feeling, you're adding more wood to that fire. Let that fire burn out. It might take a while, but you'll see benefits pretty quickly. So you practice this by literally practicing meditation. 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day. Sit your butt down and just observe this area of the nose and notice whatever is happening over there. And this will, over time, it will literally lower the activity of the amygdala, which is the place where you feel those uncontrollable emotions, and literally increase the gray matter in your frontal cortex so that you're able to think more logically and able to make better decisions. It literally does this. Controlling your emotions increases your rational thinking and decreases your emotional thinking. And this will naturally increase your ability to control your emotions. That's one thing. The next thing is to not isolate. Be around people. Literally being around people or around animals, like having a pet, will literally allow you to control your emotions better. It's all about having different sources of happiness, right? Like and honestly, I find this to be the most powerful one, being around people. Like me, I teach art classes here, I do YouTube, but I bring people here because I know that I cannot be alone. It's very important for humans to be around people. And too many people are just too isolated. So that means either having friends, working with people, even having a therapist, or even going to AA. The point is you have to interact with people. If you don't, it's a lot harder to control your emotions. And the last thing is having goals that you set and are working towards on a daily basis. Those things boost up how you feel about yourself. May not be as much as meditation, but if you do everything together, it will boost it up. Have something that you want to achieve, think about it every day, and that will give your days purpose. It'll give you purpose. It'll give your days more meaning, right? And I'm trying to think of one more. Another one is have a physical activity. For me, it's playing basketball and doing yoga every now and then. But those things release endorphins and naturally make you happier over time, especially if you're practicing, especially if you're doing it with other people, okay? So with that being said, don't forget, man, like this will literally, if you learn how to deal with your anxieties and controlling your emotions, literally your demeanor will change. You'll respect yourself more, you'll love yourself more, you'll be able to focus better, and it has like a cascading effect on everything that you do. And people will say, are you watching Professor Alex? Because I think you are. All right? Anyways, let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. And this is for the guys. If you guys are watching this and you're a dude, check out my channel, The Professor Alex. It's a channel. This is what this video is going to right now, but this is for guys because some guys don't know about this. Check it out. It's a self-help type of channel where I talk about spirituality and personal development. You can click on it